Hey, Bobby, how you doing? Eric, what do you know? I'm great. That's great. Hey, how about a high five? I'm never one to turn down a high five.
Gravy make a splash like Pippin. Shit, that's nothing. Splash. Everybody call me Big Pimpin'. No, I ain't bluffing. I'm with your mom in the kitchen. Make a blueberry muffin.
We're doing this again today. Oh, look cute. My glasses are smudged. Shout out to people who have glasses, because your glasses will never not stay smudged. And if you wipe with your shirt, your glasses will get scratched. It's a never-ending negative feedback loop. Your glasses get smudged/dirty because you just shucking and jiving all day. You'll wipe it with your shirt because you don't have a microfiber towel or whatever. They get scratched, they get smudged. You wipe it with your shirt, they get scratched. Smudge, scratch, smudge, wipe, scratch. It never ends. And they just continue to get more smudged and scratched until you have to get new glasses. Government conspiracy, confirmed here first at BruceRants. Greetings and welcomes to another episode of BruceRants. BruceRants episode 2, where you get everything that comes off the top of my head or in my head, outside my head, around my head, outside of the box, inside of the box. Today's video is gonna be about a situation that I came across when I started going to the gym here in LA. Now, this isn't something that happens only in LA, but it definitely noticeably started happening here. I don't know if it's because it's hot or if it's because it's probably because it's hot. So I go to the gym, I don't know, like every day. I do like 4 days of lifting and then like 1 day of cardio or whatever, because I'm pre-hypertensive, because I'm like African or whatever the science says about black people for some reason having way high blood pressure than like the rest of the world. But anyway, I digress. So I go into the gym, I'm, shucking and jiving, singing Negro spirituals or whatever. And I walk by a young gentleman who's lifting weights, flapping his arms a lot. He's getting into it, doing lifter stuff. And the first thing I smell is his body odor. It was bad. Like, this dude smelled so bad that I could see it. Like, have you ever watched a cartoon when someone stinks and you can see like the odor wafting up towards the sky? Like, that's how bad he stunk. Like, I think I might have knew he smelled bad and it came from him because I saw it before the smell entered my nose. And it wasn't something I wanted to see. And it's never something I want to see again. And this one instance wouldn't even really be a problem if it weren't for the fact that this happened more than once. I've been seeing more than one person with green trails of stink coming from their body. And I don't know if you've seen like the roach from Mucha Lucha. That's kind of like the vibes that are going on in the gyms over here. So people, deodorant is your friend. So anyway, back to the original guy who stunk in the first place. Now, this guy, when he stunk, he seemed to just be everywhere I was at the same time. I would go here, instant transmission with me. I would go over there, leaf jutsu tree replacement to the same place I am. So now I'm kind of getting frustrated because when you're in the gym, when you're doing your lifts, you gotta, I could only, because if I gotta breathe in all of the stink that's surrounding his body, and I don't wanna be any part of that. So I had, two choices to make here. Either I, toughen up and take the stink that was coming with this man's body, or B, exit the gym because he smelled that bad. Every time he lifted his arms, it was pretty much all the pollution that Trump said doesn't exist collecting in the gym where I was at the time. Now, being the strong, brave, and high of will person that I am, what do you think that I did as a result of smelling this man's stink? I left the gym. I'm not about to spend an hour and a half just smelling this guy's stink. I mean, If you thought that my strong will and high courage and bravery was the thing that was going to keep me in the gym, you were wrong. A man of high courage will swallow his pride and leave when it's time for him to leave. And it was time for me to leave. It was like every time I tried to do anything, his stench followed me to do the thing with me. I tried to bench, his stench gave me a spot. I tried to do a squat, his stench checked my depth. I tried to do a bicep curl, his stench checked my form. I don't understand why it kept creeping up on me. And I even did the upper lip check. If it ever stinks too much around you, always do the upper lip check. Go like this. And if you don't smell anything, it ain't you. This dude stunk. Like, I want an explanation as to why this guy smelled like fifth armpit. Now, if you don't know what fifth armpit is when someone smells so bad that there has to be a third person present. Now, you may be thinking, oh, what is the math of fifth armpit? How does that equal another person? Well, every average person, living, breathing, let's take an average of 100 people, probably 98 of them have 2 armpits. If there's 2 people in the room, me and said smelly boy, then there has to only be 4 armpits present. This guy smelled so bad that there has to be another person present in order for the amount of stink to be able to permeate the room in that way. There has to be a third person for you and your stink to somehow manage to follow me around the room. You gotta have a twin, because there's no way you can just stink that bad. Now, the only thing good about this man's stench, if there could be something good about the way he smelled, was that this stench was what you called post-stink. Now, what do you ask, what is post-stink? Post-stink is when you're walking by someone, and as you pass them, their stench follows them and hits you after the fact, also known as what we called the rebound stink. Now, in the rebound stink, you can always prepare for a rebound stink. You box yourself into your area, and as someone passes you, you slightly hold your breath and blow out. Pass, 2 seconds, proceed breathing normally. Post-stink, as we call it. Now, there's also immediate stink, otherwise known as insta-stink. And insta-stink is not when you take a picture of someone and you can see their green waves of stink float above their head and post it on your social media, similar to Instagram. Insta-stink is when you walk into a room and can you just count to 3 first? Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, Bruce of BruceRants, shouldn't I, as a gym goer, a toiler, a hard worker, be able to go to the gym and smell as a result, as a reward of my toiling and hard work? The answer is no. The gym is not. It's an enclosed space. Stinking in the gym is like farting in a jar and letting other people smell it as you open it in front of their face. Respiration is important in the gym. I decided to go online and look up, how do people stink in the first place? Why does sweating make you stink? Like, is it like a you're dirty kind of thing? Or is it just like a natural human reaction to just smell bad when you go outside? And if it is, then how did our ancestors ever get anywhere with their mates? I'm not pulling up to a girl smelling like an exercised sock. Not even in the wilderness. Now, in my search to find out where stench actually comes from, I realized that there's these things called apocrines. Now, I don't know who Hippocrates is, but he sounds like the Greek philosopher of smelling like bounce that ass. Or maybe Hippocrates has a song called I Ain't Mad at You about how you stink, but it's acceptable. Either way, these things are what's responsible for people smelling so bad when they sweat. Apparently, these things like release fats and proteins that bacteria on your body likes to eat when it's hungry. Your apocrines are the McDonald's of stench for your body. Bacteria rolls up in the drive-thru window, says, hey, can I get a number 3? And your apocrine acquiesce to the request. And therein lies the waste that your bacteria produces as a result of eating a Big Mac with cheese from apocrine. Man, I don't know what I would do if I just stunk undeniably. That would be horrible. Stay away from me, I'll do it, I swear I'll do it. You don't know what this thing has cost me. Look, you don't have to do this. Just give me the knife. It'll all be okay. Oh no, don't do it. I stink too sometimes. I just put on a little, Axe and it just goes away. I mean, I didn't mean to say Axe. Don't cut it. Do not cut it off. Yeah, you should cut that thing off. My mama won't let me in her house no more. Do you know what it feels like for your mama to make you eat outside? When it's dinner time, she said, everybody come down for dinner time, except for you, Joey. You stink. You smell like everybody's ass. Yeah, it stinks right now, too. Do you know what it's like for your father, who's African, to tell you to get the remote? Hey, Joey, come on, get the remote. And then tell you to throw it instead of hand it to him? I've never thrown anything at an African. That's an immediate African slap. And my dad, the first thing he says when he sees me is, hey, Joy, come and throw me this in the remote. You'll be all right. It'll be okay. Look, my dad's African too. I'm sure he doesn't even really want the remote like that. Okay, he wants the remote like that. I'm sure it's not a smell thing. Like, it's probably just, maybe you have Ebola. That's an African disease, right? You got past you, malaria, HIV. Not saying you got it, just a suggestion. Maybe he doesn't want to touch you. I mean, you don't know what it's like to smell this bad. You don't. And I'm not going to let you tell me. I'm cutting this thing off. Oh, it's an armpit on the floor. Whoa, he actually cut it off. At least it doesn't stink anymore. What did I say? What did I say?
My guy's pretty like a girl.